you've spoken about what Vinesh has managed to do. So I'm going to come back to you as far as that is concerned, because it's going to be very interesting to talk about how her campaign has panned out and why that is history. So let's just quickly tell our viewers that Indian wrestler Vinesh Phogat has secured a historic spot in the finals of the women's 50 kg freestyle event at the Paris Olympics 2024, assuring India at least a silver medal in wrestling. Now, Vinesh defeated Cuba's Guzman with a decisive 5-0 victory, marking a monumental achievement in her career and for Indian wrestling. In a tightly contested bout, Vinesh was ahead 1-0 at the end of the first game, with Guzman conceding a point due to passivity. Vinesh then unleashed a dominant offensive in the second period, extending her lead to a 5-0 and maintained her advance to clinch the win against the Pan American Games champion. Now, this victory makes Vinesh the first Indian woman to guarantee a wrestling medal at the ongoing Olympics. Earlier in the competition, she stunned the reigning Olympic and four-time world champion Yui Suzuki in the round of 16. Remember, she's the one who's had an unbeaten streak of 82 bouts and was handed her first international defeat by Vinesh in a thrilling 3-2 comeback victory. Vinesh, of course, continued her impressive run by defeating Ukraine's Oksana Livat 7-5 in the quarterfinals, becoming the first Indian woman wrestler to reach the semi-finals at the Olympics. Her strategic defense in the final seconds of the quarterfinals secured her place in the semis and ultimately the finals. This achievement adds to the legacy of Indian wrestling following, remember, Sakshi Malik's bronze medal win in the 2016 Rio Olympics. And Vinesh's remarkable journey in Paris highlights her skill, determination, and the significant progress of women's wrestling in India. We'll take that across to Gaurav, but before that, let's listen into this reaction.
देखिए जो पहली फाइट थी जो विनेश की जो जापान की गैल, तो उसी टाइम जो मेडल का फैसला तो उसी टाइम हो गया था। अभी पूरी आस उम्मीद है जो गोल्ड मेडल लेके आएगी।
किस तरह का गेम रहा आज? तीनों गेम देखने
बढ़िया रहा है, जो बढ़िया फाइट लड़ी है और बगैर डर के लड़ी और आगे बढ़िया फाइट दिखाएगी। सारे देश में खुशी है आज, सभी जो इसके गोल्ड मेडल की जो विनेश की बात देख रहे हैं, और ये जो सारे देश की जो 2 ओलंपिक पिछले गए उनकी जो सारी कमी दूर करके गोल्ड मेडल लेके आएगी। बस आशीर्वाद सारी दुनिया का है, हिंदुस्तान का है। मैं तो माँ बाप हूँ, मेरा तो होना था।
Gaurav, coming back to you about this particular performance, so historic in so many different ways. I don't think for people who don't follow wrestling very closely, don't even know how much she's managed to really put that for India on a bigger chart. The performance, the fact that she's ousted some of the best international opponents, and she's going to, of course, be writing history. But more importantly, the journey that Vinesh has had, that she's kind of silenced all her critics with this performance, Gaurav.
Absolutely. She's silenced all her critics and she's made a huge statement. And that statement essentially, I'm afraid to say it against the establishment, because she was given little support when she spoke out against an alleged sexual predator, sexual harasser and along with her colleagues and was forced to hit the streets. The kind of time she had, being sort of almost, put in jail also and being forced to return her medals, protest on the streets at Jantar Mantar, stage a sit-in for days, and I was, I had told my colleagues at that point in time and a lot of people that nobody does it without having undergone personal trauma and really sort of putting your career on the line and a lot of unfortunately a lot of people that time told me that perhaps Vinesh and the others are doing it because they're over the hill, they don't want selection trials, this and that, and a lot of rubbish was spoken about, but clearly Vinesh has told us that there is there's a reason why we must back our athletes when they tell us something, when they complain to us about something, and when they have genuine issues, and she's proved to be an absolute champion, which she always was. She is also, I think, Asian Games ruling champion and gold medalist. And the way she fought here has been absolutely unbelievable. I think her beating her Japanese rival, who's never lost in around 82 bouts that she's contested in, and I was reading somewhere that the last time she lost, she was in 5th grade, and she's never lost at the international stage. The world number one, the reigning Olympic champion. It's unbelievable. It was an unbelievable feat, and as Vinesh Phogat sir said, the moment she beat that her Japanese opponent, it was clear that she was going for the gold, and she's unstoppable, which she has proved to be. I mean, she beat her opponent 5-0 in the semi-finals. That says it all, and I think a silver would be disappointing from her. I would expect her to clinch the gold tonight. I think the bout is at around I think 12:30 or something like that. It's pretty late, but then I think the whole of India will be awake and watching her fight. With bated breath, and I think she's infused life into India's Olympic campaign, and dare I say, perhaps an even bigger story than Manu Thakur. Her victory, and she's infused life into wrestling. Which was sort of silent for a while, and which had been in the news for all the wrong reasons. And I really hope that athletes like her are respected and by our establishment, and because it's ultimately the government which has been embarrassed because it failed to support. It completely failed her when it mattered and when she needed that support. She carried on, she fought on, and hopefully she converts. She concludes her journey and gives it a fitting sign off with a gold medal. That would be a slap on the face of her critics, and provide us with immense joy, and give us perhaps the story of this Olympics across all sports, across all athletes, across all countries. Because this is an international sports story, worth sort of making it to the pages of international newspapers.
Right, Gaurav.
It's an inspirational story to the core.
Right, Gaurav. In fact, like you've said, probably we'll be chatting once again with the fact that she might have won that gold. But I don't want to jinx it. But we're all, of course, rooting for her and all our other athletes who continue to keep their eyes on those medals. Having said that, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here this morning, Gaurav. Appreciate it. We're going to, of course, now shift our focus to more that we're tracking on Metro Morning.